32 BBY. Against the knowledge of the Jedi or Galactic Republic, a grand clone army would be created, different to any that had come before. Despite its dubious origins and questionable loyalty, 10 years later, it would march into battle against the separatist droid armies. And under the command of its Jedi generals, proved to be the greatest fighting force the galaxy had ever known. But it would never have gained its distinguished reputation without its clone commanders. Elite, expertly trained, and extremely capable, they had quickly cemented their place as the most celebrated battlefield commanders in the history of the Republic. This is the story of each of the clone commanders and how they earned their near mythical reputation. CC-1226. After completing the Clone Commander Flash training, 1226 would be given the rank of Commander. We do not know of his service to the Republic, but during the reign of the Empire, he would accompany Commander Cody and Crosshair to Desix in 19 BBY. However, on the next mission, Crosshair would be placed under the command of 1226. CC-4816. We also do not know of Clone Commander 4816's service during the Clone Wars, but during the early Imperial era he accompanied Darth Vader to the colonies of Castarvel in 19 BBY to eliminate a surviving Jedi. He and his men successfully defused an archway that had been rigged with explosives. However, after being spotted they were drenched in engine fuel, and before the clones could escape the trap, a flare was fired into the fuel, killing all of them. That is definitely one of the more grisly deaths of any commander. CR-57. CR-57 was sent to the planet of Frustra in 21 BBY to convince the local population of native Faie not to secede from the Republic, by force, of course. However, the Republic troops were attacked by the natives. Outnumbered and outgunned, CR-57 and his troops were overwhelmed, and shortly after communicating their desperate situation to Republic forces, he was killed. CRC-09571. 71 was a regimental commander who first saw action at the First Battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY. At the time of the battle, he was a battalion commander, playing a very prominent role in the Great Republic victory in the GAR's first engagement against the CIS's droid armies. He was the commander who greeted Grandmaster Yoda at the forward observation post and updated the Jedi on the forward push of all Republic ground forces. He then directed the Republic SPHATs to focus fire on the Trade Federation core ships as per Yoda's orders. He would go on to fight at the Battle of Tayar, his regiment being attached to the 416th Star Corps, where in late 22 BBY, he would be killed. It would be a sad and early end for a commander who played such a vital role in the opening battle of the Clone Wars. CT-80-88-3009 Aiden. Commander Aiden would command the 7th Legion throughout the Clone Wars, one of 4 legions that made up the elite 327th Star Corps. CC-1119 Appo. Appo would be born with the rank of Sergeant, and very unusually would participate in Alpha 17's ARC Trooper training program, which is where he would acquire his name. Serving with the 501st throughout the entirety of the Clone Wars, we first see him during the Battle of Umbara in late 21 BBY, originally fighting alongside Captain Rex and Jedi General Anakin Skywalker, but when Skywalker had to leave, he was replaced by Jedi General Pong Krell. This put Rex, Appo and the rest of the 501st under Krell's command. Appo served bravely during the Umbaran campaign, although he was more dogmatic than Rex and was not as quick to question his orders. However, when Rex and a large unit of the 501st were sent on an almost suicidal mission to take an Umbaran airbase front on, they took heavy casualties. Appo wanted to help Rex and suggested sending in reinforcements he had assembled, but Krell declined this offer, saying he would give the order. The clones began to seriously distrust Krell's orders, and when he ordered Fives and Jesse to be shot by firing squad, it was Appo who released their handcuffs on Rex's orders. But the final straw came once it was revealed that Krell had ordered the 212th and 501st to attack each other. After much consideration, the clones decided to take matters into their own hands and arrest Pong Krell. Appo would join Rex and the other 501st and 212th clones to arrest the Jedi. After Krell's capture, Appo helped to regroup the scattered 501st in preparation for the Umbaran assault. Right at the end of the Clone Wars, Appo would be promoted to Legion Commander and took control of the 501st. By this time, Rex had been given the 332nd. When Order 66 came down, Appo led the 501st alongside Darth Vader in Operation Nightfall and stormed the Jedi Temple, killing many Jedi himself. Nearing the end of the operation inside the Jedi Temple, Appo had made his way to the landing pad, where he came across Senator Bail Organa. After telling the Senator that there had been a rebellion and he must leave, clones were attacked by Padawan Zetchukasa. The Padawan killed a number of Appo's men and seriously wounded Appo himself. Despite their casualties, the clones would kill the Padawan and allowed Bail Organa to escape. The 501st, under Appo's command, would become known as Vader's Fist, and served him well on many missions to suppress threats to the Empire and any Jedi holdouts. Appo and his men would save Darth Vader's life during the ambush on Kessel, and after tracking the rogue Jedi that had orchestrated this trap for many months, they located him on Kashyyyk. When the Empire formally invaded the Wookiee homeworld, Appo and Vader went to the surface to find the rogue Jedi. In the ensuing fight, Appo would be killed by Jedi Master Rowan Shrin. Commander Appo epitomized the clones' sense of loyalty to the Republic, but also showed how that loyalty didn't always stretch to the Jedi. He may have led the 501st during its darkest hours, but also led them into a new age of galactic warfare, from the frontline soldiers to peace enforcers. Despite his flaws, you cannot deny Appo's loyalty to the Republic and subsequently the Empire. CC 1138, Bacara. Unlike all the other original Clone Army commanders who received the standard flash training, and then later some received ARC training under Alpha 17, Marshal Commander Bacara will be personally trained by the Journeyman Protector, Colt Devin. The Journeyman Protectors were their own unique sect of Mandalorians from Concord Dawn. They enforced the law and had their own rigid sense of order and honor. The unique traditions of the Journeyman Protectors were a crucial part of Bacara's own beliefs, and he modeled himself and his leadership by their example. However, this training, far removed from what other clone commanders went through, left Bacara feeling a sense of loneliness, although he did have a close friendship with another Marshal Commander, CC-8826, who would become known as Neo, whom he would cooperate with to develop new Abark speeder tactics. Shortly before the first Battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY, Bacara would be given command of the 21st Nova Corps. The 21st would earn a reputation as one of the most elite corps in the GAR, helped in part by their very distinctive name, the Galactic Marines. We do not know the battles that Bacara led his corps in for the first year of the Clone Wars, but shortly after the opening of the war, Bacara and his troops would be assigned to Jedi Council member Ki-Adi-Mundi. Mundi and Bacara would quickly learn to respect each other's abilities, Mundi even saying of Bacara's aggressive tactics as a thing of prodigy. During this first year of the war, Bacara would return to Kamino, participate in Alpha 17's ARC Trooper training program, graduating early. But as the year 21 BBY drew closer, Mundi, Bacara and the 21st would be sent to the towering, snow-covered planet of Maigito, controlled by the intergalactic Banking Clan. The initial Republic invasion of Maigito saw some of the toughest and most brutal close-quarters combat of the war. Bacara personally led his men into the bombed-out ruins of the Maigitan cities, fighting house to house and room to room against the entrenched droid armies. Even though the Republic was slowly gaining ground, including Bacara's capture of Jaigat City, the battle for control of Maigito would continue for years to come. Because of the near stalemate on Maigito, Bacara and the 21st would be sent to help reinforce Republic garrisons during the Outer Rim sieges. Landing on the planet New Bornalex, because of their reputation earned on Maigito, the 21st were equipped with new, stronger prototype armor. However, during the battle, their new weapon systems malfunctioned. Bacara found himself literally outgunned in every respect. But not willing to give ground or call a retreat, he ordered the Galactic Marines forward in what must have seemed like a suicidal action. It saw the clones tear apart B-2 battle droids with their bare hands. This extreme display of fortitude and bravery ultimately led to a crushing Republic victory. For this extraordinary action on Bornalex, the 21st Nova Corps, and particularly their Marshal Commander, cemented their place as the toughest, most capable corps in the entire Grand Army. In 19 BBY, Mundi and Bacara would return to Maigito, but the conflict had become more deadly than when they left. The CIS had used the gigantic tri-droids to destroy the towering cities of Maigito. In turn, the Republic employed mass artillery barrages, but this onslaught only added to destruction and civilian casualties. To help assist the 21st, the Republic sent many recently battle-hardened units from the 501st Legion. However, unknown to the Jedi General Ki-Adi-Mundi, they were also there to steal an experimental Maigitan power source, a crystal that Supreme Chancellor Palpatine wanted for his secret super laser. On another near-suicidal head-on assault, Mundi and Bacara led the 21st over a bridge against an entrenched enemy position in person. But as they charged, Bacara received Order 66. Halting and raising his DC-15, he and his troops shot Ki-Adi-Mundi multiple times, killing the Jedi Master. Bacara would go on to take full command of the 21st and successfully took the bridge. He would say of his killing of Ki-Adi-Mundi,
hesitated for a moment when I received Order 66, because the last thing I expected was a Jedi coup. Did I feel betrayed? You bet I did. I thought all of my men who died under Ki-Adi-Mundi command. I'd have shot him as a traitor a lot earlier. He betrayed the trust of every one of us.
We do not know of Bacara's actions following the rise of the Empire, but judging by his staunch loyalty to the Republic, he most likely continued to serve in the new Stormtrooper Corps. Martial Commander Bacara never had the charisma of his fellow Martial Commanders, but as the Clone Wars showed, that disadvantage did nothing to squash his incredible military talents, always leading his corps from the front and always following his personal sense of honor and leadership, which he learned all those years ago on Kamino from the Journeyman Protectors. His leadership in the harshest battles of the war single-handedly earned the Republic many outstanding victories. Many people would say that Bacara was not just a brave commander, but the bravest of the brave. Commander Blackout. Blackout is one of the few known Special Ops commanders. These specialist troopers undertook missions requiring stealth and precision, aiming to detect and disrupt enemies at a distance. He is also only one of 2 commanders on this list to have been awarded the Mandalorian Battle Honor of the Jageyes on his helmet, but we do not know for what action he was awarded these. In 22 BBY, he was stationed aboard the Republic Venator, Negotiator, above the planet Christophsis. The Republic was desperately trying to break the Separatist blockade to get much needed supplies down to Senator Bail Organa's humanitarian relief mission on the planet's surface. The Separatist blockade was well assembled and placed directly in the path of the hyperspace lane and the planet, and even worse, it was commanded by one of the CIS's greatest naval commanders, the thought-to-be-dead Admiral Trench. But the Republic forces had an ace up their sleeves, an experimental IPV-2C stealth corvette. Originally, the objective for Commander Blackout and his crew was to use the corvette's stealth ability to secretly deliver supplies to the surface, but Jedi General Anakin Skywalker had other ideas. Departing the Venator's hangar, Blackout Skywalker, Admiral Yularen, and the clone crew attempted to surprise attack Trench's flagship. When the new clone recruit Spark asked the veteran commander what the general was doing, Blackout replied, "You learn pretty quick that when you serve under General Skywalker, you're always on the offensive." The first attack run failed when Trench managed to lock on to the corvette's magnetic signature. Blackout, realizing this, alerted Skywalker. This insight allowed the Jedi to change the tactics and send the tracking torpedo straight into Trench's bridge. It might seem disappointing that we know so little about Commander Blackout, a commander who clearly possesses such bravery and skill, but maybe as he was a Spec Ops commander, we know all we need to. Commander Blitz. ARC Commander Blitz was a member of the Rancor Battalion, and along with fellow ARC commanders, would oversee the final stage of training for clone troopers, as well as scouting for potential future ARC troopers. Blitz's finest hour would be in the defense of the clones' homeworld of Kamino, leading a trio of ARC troopers to eliminate a giant separatist trident drill. Blitz would be one of only 2 ARC commanders to survive the defense of Kamino. In the aftermath, Blitz would assist in the repairs to Topoka City. As far as we know, Blitz and the other ARC commanders did not actively fight in the great campaigns of the Clone Wars, but their invaluable service to the Republic by ensuring each new batch of clone troopers were ready for combat is certainly commendable. CC 5052 Bly. As with most commanders on this list, Martial Commander Bly will be given ARC Trooper training by Alpha 17. This greater independent thinking would serve Bly well in the many battles to come during the war. He would be assigned to command the 327th Star Corps and placed under the command of Jedi General Aayla Secura. Over the course of the Clone Wars, they would develop a very close friendship, much closer than most Commander-Jedi relationships. And yes, that's as far as I'm going with that particular topic. Aside from some minor skirmishes in the early months of the war, Bly's first large-scale mission was in 22 BBY to the planet of Quell. He and Secura commanded 3 Venators, but before they could get to their objective, they were ambushed by a separatist fleet. The Republic fleet took heavy damage until only Secura's flagship, the Liberty, remained. Luckily, Skywalker's ship, the Resolute, was en route. He would be accompanied by his Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, and Captain Rex. When the Resolute arrived, it dispatched LA-AT gunships to deploy Skywalker, Rex, Tano, and other clones to help repel the separatist boarding efforts. Skywalker also arranged for a Consular-class cruiser to dock underneath the Liberty to allow Secura and Bly to evacuate. After reaching the Consular cruiser, they managed to undock and headed back to the Resolute, but were attacked by Vulture droids as they began docking. This knocked out the pilot and threw him into the controls, accidentally activating the hyperdrive. Bly tried his best to disengage the drive, but to no avail. Admiral Yularen quickly acted to steer away from the cruiser as it set off to an unknown hyperspace coordinate, crashing the ship down on a nearby planet of Meridian. On the planet, Skywalker's injuries, which he had sustained earlier, worsened. The team split up. Rex stayed at the wreckage to look after Skywalker, and the rest would go find help. Bly and Ahsoka would shortly return with a local Lerman healer, the commander not being allowed to enter the Lerman village due to his weapons. It was then that the droid transports were spotted landing on the horizon. After a long firefight with Lock Dirge's droid army, the small group of Jedi and clones alongside their newly founded Lerman allies managed to defeat the CIS garrison and get transport off-world. Soon after the debacle on Meridian, Bly and Sakura, accompanied by Marshal Commander Gree and Jedi General Luminara Unduli, to the planet of Alzok 3 to investigate suspected criminal activity. They found the crash site of a separatist battleship, and after a short firefight with minimal droid forces, the Jedi were engaged in battle with Asajj Ventress, but the group escaped and reported their findings to the Jedi High Council. Bly would go on to work closely with Sakura in conflicts on the Holstis and Honogor. In 19 BBY, Bly and the 327 and Sakura would be sent to the siege of Seleucami, where Bly would fight alongside fellow commanders Faie and Neo to secure the planet's capital city and defeat the separatist garrison. After the relative success of the siege of Seleucami, the 327 was sent to Endor to investigate reports of a separatist base. Bly did send out a scouting party, but they did not return back. Realizing the threat was not important enough to waste time over, they left the Endor system, never finding out what exactly killed those clone troopers. They were then ordered to set course for Felucia to take the fight to separatist forces in another arena of the Outer Rim sieges. During the journey, it had become clear that Coruscant was under attack. It was ordered that all available Jedi return to the capital, but Bly, level-headed as always, reasoned that they were too far out. Sakura agreed with her friend's judgment, and they stayed on course for Felucia. As everyone knows, it was on Felucia that Bly received Order 66, made even more sad by how close Bly and Sakura had become, working very closely to destroy an enemy compound, Bly even using an ascension cable to carry Sakura to the top of the building. The compound was booby-trapped with toxic airborne chemicals, but the Republic forces managed to evacuate just in time. En route to confront a droid column, Bly would receive Order 66. He and his men made sure to continue to shoot Sakura to make sure she was dead and reduce her suffering as much as possible. Bly would loyally serve the Empire, assisting in the hunting of Jedi under the orders of Darth Vader. Commander Bly is a slight anomaly in the history of the GAR, an extremely capable and loyal commander, but one who lacked a ruthless streak or ability to complete a mission at all costs. This unfortunate characteristic made Bly often very angry at himself, but Bly's very unique personal connection with his Jedi General, who he was able to call a friend, and his complete loyalty to the Republic made Bly very dependable and importantly consistent, a quality all too rare among the clone commanders. Bo was a clone stormtrooper commander, and what I mean by that is he was probably a commander in the Grand Army of the Republic, but we don't know. We only know about his service to the Galactic Empire. At some point during the Clone Wars, he became a commander within the infamous 501st Legion. He served directly under Commander Appo, the previously mentioned Legion commander of the 501st, so I think it is safe to say that Bo was a regimental commander. He would accompany Appo to Kessel in 19 BBY to assist and if necessary rescue Darth Vader from the hands of rogue Jedi. When they arrived, Appo, Bo and the 501st troops saved Vader's life, but Appo would be killed by the Jedi. Bo would return to Coruscant to file a report of the incident. This report would be a part of a compilation of records reporting on the success of Order 66. Broils. Shortly after the first Battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY, Broils and his unit were sent to secure a planet in the Outer Rim. Finding the Republic garrison almost completely destroyed, he called for backup and investigated. Grandmaster Yoda would arrive soon to help eliminate the droid forces. TK-571, Clutch. Commander Clutch was another clone stormtrooper commander who was tasked with guarding a statue of Palpatine outside the Theed Royal Palace on the Emperor's homeworld of Naboo. Not all named commanders have that much of a story. CC-2224, Cody. Commander Cody would not be sent to the first battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY, instead being kept on Kamino and would undertake Alpha 17's commander training program, becoming one of the most exceptional graduates. Then he was given command of the 7th Sky Corps and the rank of Marshal Commander. Cody would first see action in the mysterious Battle of Tebrin with his good friend, Captain Rex. After this first engagement, he would be sent to Cato Nemoidia, where he updated Kenobi on the progress of the battle. Soon after the Cato Nemoidian campaign, Cody would further customize his armor with his distinctive orange paint marks. These markings would soon be adopted by Cody's personal battalion, the 212th. Although Cody commanded the entire 7th Sky Corps with Kenobi, he would often personally lead the 212th Attack Battalion from the front. He would go on to lead the 7th Sky Corps to Kristar, Caliban, and the siege of Hisson, before helping to repel the separatist assault on Christophsis. Teth would once again show Cody's willingness to lead from the front, and soon after he would accompany Captain Rex to the Rishi Moon outpost, helping to save Kamino Kamino from invasion. Cody would then lead a single company of the 212th known as the Ghost Company to free the Twi'leks on Ryloth from separatist occupation before moving out to confront the bounty hunter Cad Bane on Felucia. The second battle of Geonosis was Cody at his best, in the most testing of circumstances. The 212th was only one of 3 battalions to make it to the rendezvous at Point Rain at the agreed time, and so he had to hold the position while heavily outnumbered. And when Kenobi was knocked out of action, Cody took full command of the 212th and successfully repelled the Geonosian and droid attacks, before he was relieved by Republic reinforcements. He would then join Kenobi at the Battle of Seleucami, which would be one of many encounters Cody would have with the separatist General Grievous, as Kenobi tried throughout the war to defeat the general in battle. After Cody helped escort Duchess Satine to Coruscant, both him and Rex were sent to Kamino to prepare for a separatist attack on the cloning facilities. In 21 BBY, Cody would meet Quinlan Vos for the first time, and helped free Wilhelm Tarkin from captivity on Lola Sayu. He would then switch to his even more iconic Phase 2 armor before being sent to Umbara. Although the 501st Battle on Umbara has been immortalized, the 212 also had a very difficult campaign and took many casualties. Then a brief skirmish on Kairos before assisting in the rescue of Jedi younglings from Florum. He would also attend the Great Republic Strategic Conference alongside many fellow commanders, and would then help the local population of the planet Bray with fending off a separatist attack. Nearing the end of the war, Cody would be sent to assist Master Tipley on Vizsla Kipo 9 before bumping into Quinlan Vos again. At this point, he had turned to the dark side. When this was found out, Cody was ordered to chase him down, but was force pushed by Vos and broke his leg. Cody, Rex, and the 7th Sky Corps would be sent to Anaxis to help reinforce Republic positions in the Outer Rim, where Cody would help convince the Jedi that Rex had a winning plan. Cody and Rex would be assisted by Clone Force 99, however, during the mission, he was injured and had to be evacuated. During the last few months of the Clone Wars, he would be sent alongside the entire 7th Sky Corps to Yavana, where Kenobi saved his life by stopping an artillery shell landing on him. After the Battle of Coruscant, Kenobi would once again take the entire 7th Sky Corps to Utapau, where Cody and his men would take on the huge droid armies, while Kenobi defeated General Grievous in battle. But as Cody handed Obi-Wan back his lightsaber that the commander had picked up earlier, he received a personal message from Chancellor Palpatine to execute Order 66. After a short pause, he ordered a nearby AT-TE to open fire on Kenobi. Following a short search for the Jedi, Cody would come up empty-handed and assume that the Jedi died during the fall. He then swiftly finished up the Battle of Utapau and reported back to the newly formed Galactic Empire. Cody would lead his corps with continued loyalty and bravery into the Imperial era, proving a valuable asset to the new Galactic Empire. He would lead a small mission to Kashyyyk where he helped to enslave the Wookiee population. Then he would assist former Commander Crosshair in a mission to Desix to free the kidnapped Imperial governor. Upon completing the mission, Cody would abandon the Empire. But Marshal Commander Cody's legacy goes beyond all that. He was an incredible battlefield tactician. The fact is that he almost single-handedly won all those battles we just talked about. Even at the second battle of Geonosis, where Obi-Wan had become a casualty, Cody took command of the entire corps, formed them into a circle, and held the line until Republic reinforcements could arrive. His personal relationship with Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi ensured that the Jedi Master became one of the most feared generals in the entire JR, but his reputation would have held no water without the many victories and brilliant strategic ability of Commander Cody, who many would say is a contender for the very best clone commander. Commander Colt. Colt was an ARC Trooper commander and the commanding officer of the previously mentioned Rancor Battalion. He would be assigned to Kamino in 22 BBY to finish the training of new clone recruits and find suitable candidates for the ARC Trooper program. Colt would constantly stress the importance of unity among the clones, and that only by working as a team would they achieve ultimate victory on the battlefield. He was seen being particularly tough on the clone recruits who did not adhere to his philosophy of teamwork. Colt would continue to be stationed on Kamino, training the new clone cadets, and was present when the CIS mounted an attack aimed at destroying the cloning facilities. Colt would bravely lead his ARC battalion in an impressive defense of Tipoca City, but he became cut off and outnumbered by droid forces and was brutally killed by Asajj Ventress. Commander Colt's role in the Grand Army of the Republic should not be overlooked, even ignoring his impressive leadership during the defense of Kamino. His toughness and expert training of new clone recruits would ensure that they were ready for the many challenging battles that lay ahead. His loss would rob the elite Rancor Battalion of their capable commander, who would become a very important asset in the ever-expanding Clone Wars. Commander Crane. Crane was the commander of the 184th Attack Attack Battalion, and is never actually seen in person but in a Force vision experienced by Count Dooku. During this vision, Crane would execute Order 66 on his Jedi General, Master Arif. This vision would alert Dooku to the fact that something bigger was happening in the shadows of the Clone Wars. CT-9904 Crosshair. Crosshair would originally be born as a member of the Bad Batch, officially known as Clone Force 99, a squad made up of defective clones with desirable mutations. I'm not going to cover the missions they undertook during the Clone Wars, as Crosshair was not a commander during any of this time, but in 19 BBY, when the rest of Clone Force 99 went rogue, Crosshair would be promoted to commander and given a squad of 4 non-clone humans to lead. He went on to Onderon and with his new squad eliminated the insurgents. After many months of hunting his former squad throughout the galaxy, Crosshair would find them returning to Kamino, only for Topoka City to be bombarded by the Imperials. In the bombardment, Crosshair would be considerably injured. Following the mission to Kamino, he would be demoted from commander and temporarily placed under the command of Cody for a mission to Desix. He then went to Barton 4 to reinforce Commander Mayday's heavily depleted garrison, but the commander would die in Crosshair's arms, leading to him killing his Imperial officer, Nolan. He was then imprisoned on Mount Tantus until he was rescued with help from Omega. He then rejoined his old squad, killed Commander Scorch, who was defending the base's Commander Hemlock, and rescued Omega. Even though Crosshair was not a commander for a substantial length of time, I thought it important to mention him on this list because it shows the complex dynamics of loyalty. Even when the clones were supposed to be loyal to the newly created empire, yet also torn between loyalty to his clone brothers. CT-6591-6210 Deviss. Deviss would be assigned to the rank of captain at the outbreak of war. He would be given command of K Company within Hawkbat Battalion, an elite battalion of the 327th Star Corps. He was one of the many clones to be sent to rescue the Jedi strike team on the outer rim world of Geonosis in 22 BBY, leading his company with great skill and bravery during the first battle of the Clone Wars, marching straight into oncoming fire from the deadly spider droids. Geonosis saw many clone units wiped out altogether, but in a brutal baptism by fire, Hawkbat Battalion barely clung to life. Deviss would only survive by hiding in a shell hole, trying to keep injured clones alive, until after 3 hours he was rescued. After the battle, he would receive a medal for his actions. After recuperating from the horrors of Geonosis, Deviss would be sent to Altair 5. During the battle, Deviss' Jedi General would be killed. With his commanding officer dead, Deviss took command of his unit, rallied the remaining clones under his command, and completed the mission of destroying a separatist ion cannon. This near suicidal action would allow Republic bombers to swoop in and make way for a Republic victory. For this great act of gallantry, Commander Bly would award Deviss the rank of Commander. In 19 BBY, Deviss would serve in the Great Battle of Cato Nemoidia, once again helping to secure a Republic victory. But even a war hero like Deviss was not immune to the effects of the inhibitor chip. As the Chancellor executed Order 66, Deviss was stationed on the planet of Auto to assist Jedi Knight Nembiz. After a week of methodical fighting to clear out the Separatist forces, Deviss would receive the order and killed the Jedi. Deviss saw an immense amount of combat during the long and grueling campaigns of the Clone Wars, but no matter how bad the conditions were or how strong the enemy was entrenched, Deviss always completed his missions with outstanding bravery, the ability to inspire his men to victory, and ultimately undying loyalty to the Republic. He would prove one of the GAR's very best combat commanders. Doom. Near the start of the war, Doom would be placed under the command of Jedi Generals Tip La and Tip Lee. In 19 BBY, Doom and his unit would be sent to the crucial planet of Ringo Vinda, along the Permillion trade route to capture a vital space station, which is being held by the separatist Admiral Trench. Being joined by the 501st Legion, Doom and his men were slowly pushing Trench's droid forces back along the narrow corridor to the space station. Despite his men being exhausted, the Republic forces kept up the attack, until finding a communication center where they could rest, regroup, and plan an attack on Trench's main defensive line. During the attack, the Republic managed to keep the droid forces at bay, but lost all momentum when the 501st Trooper Tup prematurely executed Order 66 on Jedi General Tip La. With the initiative lost, Doom wisely ordered a retreat. Commander Doom is a great example of an ideal clone commander, brave and an excellent combatant, who is not afraid to lead his men from the front, but was also not afraid to call for reinforcements when needed, and recognize when a retreat was necessary. Qualities that the Republic needed needed desperately, but often found in short supply: Dox. During the Clone Wars in 22 BBY, Commander Dox and his unit would be sent to the inner rim planet of Merson with his Jedi General Rowan Kim and his Padawan Tap Na Pal. Their mission was to defeat the Merson pirates who had become allied with the CIS. But unknown to the clones or Jedi, this was a trap by Palpatine to kill the outspoken Jedi Master. Upon landing, Dox and his men found themselves outnumbered 5-1, with Separatist forces much greater than any report had suggested. During the intense battle, Dox became injured and suffered a cracked helmet, leaving a deep scar along his face. Due to the unexpected Separatist forces, the Republic Navy withdrew from orbit, leaving the Jedi, Dox and his men stranded. The Padawan refused to retreat and was killed. Retreating to behind some rocks, Dox sarcastically asked the Jedi for orders and joked that retreat was not an option. The Jedi Master replied, "Die well." Dox, knowing his duty to, if necessary, die for the Republic, led his 9 remaining clone troopers in a brave but doomed assault to destroy as many droids as possible. But as everyone knew, it was futile. The Jedi, clones, and Commander Dox all died on Merson. The short but inspiring tale of Commander Dox on Merson is showing a common theme on this list. Clones, believing they were fighting to defend the Republic, ultimately died at the hands of its very leader. But even with the sad circumstances, the last stand of Commander Dox and his men only proves how ready the clones were to die for the Republic. Faie. Commander Faie's first known action was in 19 BBY at the tail end of the Clone Wars, being sent to Seleucami during the Outer Rim sieges, alongside fellow commanders Neo and Bly to destroy a Separatist holdout. Soon after the siege of Seleucami, Faie would be sent to the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. On Kashyyyk, Faie would be assigned to Jedi General Quinlan Vos to defend the planet's surface from a droid invasion force. But during the battle, Faie was ordered to execute Order 66. However, during the frantic search to find the many Jedi on Kashyyyk, the droid forces managed to secure a beachhead. Faie, acting quickly, took command of all Republic forces and successfully won the battle against the droid armies. He had managed many corps, including his own and the 41st Elite Corps. Faie then turned his attention to hunting the Jedi, but Quinlan Vos ambushed Faie and killed him. Faie would prove to be a by-the-book and no-nonsense commander. This personality clash with his Jedi General, Quinlan Vos, often made the relationship very strained, but Vos learned to respect the commander's judgment, and his quick thinking at the Battle of Kashyyyk helped secure a Great Republic victory, even if the Jedi were now a greater threat than the Separatists. Phil. Commander Phil would be assigned to the Mon Calamari Jedi Knight, Nadar Veb, and would fight alongside him at many battles during the first year of the Clone Wars. And in 21 BBY, Phil led a squad with his Jedi General to hunt down Nute Gunray, ending up on the planet Vasek 3. Upon entering a fortress on the planet, they realized that Gunray was in fact not there. This was instead the lair of General Grievous. Phil and his men launched grapple hooks at the General to try to pin him down, but Grievous escaped and sent in his pet Rogwart named Gore, which after a short fight ended up killing the commander. He was the last of his clones to die during the encounter. Flybane. Commander Flybane would accompany Jedi Generals Anakin Skywalker and Tennis to Ryloth in 22 BBY. During the battle, Flybane engaged and destroyed many Separatist battle droids, leading to a Great Republic victory. CC 1010 Fox. Fox took command of the Coruscant Guard at the start of the Clone Wars, a unit created to ensure the safety of the galactic capital, and most importantly, the Senate. At the very start of the war, Fox would command shock troops in the freeing of Padme Amidala and the subsequent arrest of Zero the Hutt on Coruscant. The following year, Fox allowed demolition droids disguised as cleaning droids to infiltrate the central power grid, where they blew up part of the system, resulting in a blackout on Coruscant. Over a year later, in 19 BBY, Fox was guarding the cell of a terrorist, Letta Termond, but had to arrest Ahsoka Tano, when from his perspective, it looked as if she had killed the prisoner. Fox said to Tano, "Can't say I blame you, Commander, but all the same, you're under arrest." After Ahsoka Tano escaped, Fox chased her down, initially giving the order to shoot on sight, before Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex revoked that order. Fox then had to hunt down another fugitive, the 501st ARC Trooper, Fives. After cornering him next to a ray shield, Fox shot Fives dead before he could reveal the secrets of the inhibitor chip. This does not seem to be deliberate though, as Fox looked very visually upset at having to kill one of his clone brothers. During the Jedi Purge of Order 66, Fox oversaw the hunting of surviving Jedi on Coruscant. In Imperial service, Fox continued to loyally serve as the commander of the Coruscant Guard, but when Darth Vader ordered Fox to create a perimeter around the Jedi Temple to box in a rogue Jedi, Fox's men fired upon Darth Vader, believing him to be a Jedi. For this action, Fox would be killed by Darth Vader. Commander Fox is almost universally hated, and I don't think that is wholly fair. After all, as with all clones, Fox saw all his actions, no matter how painful or, in the power of hindsight, disastrous, were all in the service to the Republic, and I think that should be commended. GammaOne. GammaOne and his unit were trained by Q-Vardar, otherwise known as Kalskarata. Once he graduated the commander training program, he would be assigned to the Special Operations Brigade, being given the rank of commander. His unit would deploy to the planet of Kularin to seize a droid factory. GammaOne and his unit executed their mission successfully. CC-4572 Ganch. Commander Ganch had a very bad start to the war. In an unknown battle, he would be the only survivor of Skua Squad. However, this did speed up his promotion to Battalion Commander of the 612th Attack Battalion. He would be assigned to Jedi Master Bola Rapal and his Padawan, Tyson Zebek. The commander would be tasked with overseeing construction of a Republic base on the planet of Deveron. However, they were attacked by mercenaries sent by the CIS. The commander and Padawan survived, but the Jedi Master was killed by Cad Bane. Ganch would then be given a new Jedi General, Master Kilivine Roos, and on a search and rescue mission on the planet Yukio, he would be infected by neural scrambling from a separatist bioweapon attack. Ganch would be remembered as a dependable and bold commander. His attitude to the war best summarized in this quote of his: "You don't have to agree with the way the war is being fought to win it." He would then survive to see the reign of the Empire. Gett. Commander Gett was a commander within the 41st Elite Corps and commanded an acclimator over the planet of Dinlo, helping to rescue Republic forces on the planet's surface. In 19 BBY, during the waning days of the Clone Wars, Gett alongside the rest of the 41st was sent to Kashyyyk. Originally under the command of Grandmaster Yoda, he would assist in Commander Faie's counterattack of the separatist beachhead. Gett also helped to hunt down the many Jedi stationed on Kashyyyk following Order 66. He was also very angry to learn about the death of his commanding officer, Commander Gree. He would go on to loyally serve the Empire, training new Imperial cadets and using his experience fighting in the Clone Wars to great effect in this role. CC-1004 Gree. Gree's name comes from a species of the same name. These early intelligent species of the Star Wars galaxy greatly interested Gree. He chose the name as anyone who recognized his name was likely also interested in exobiology, an interest Gree kept throughout the war. At the outbreak of the war with the Separatist Alliance, Gree was given command of the 41st Elite Corps, one of many specialized units focused on combating the droid armies in very particular environments. The 41st was tasked with being the vanguard on a dense jungle world. Gree and the 41st would miss the first battle of Geonosis in 22, his corps' extensive training not yet complete. His first combat mission was the capture and escort of Nute Gunray in the latter months of 22 BBY, after the Naboo Senator Padme Amidala and Representative Jar Jar Binks had apprehended the Trade Federation Viceroy, who was secretly cooperating with a Separatist alliance. It was then Gree who arrested him and took him into Republic custody. Because of the small scale of the mission, there was no need for the entire 41st Corps. Instead, Gree chose his personal elite company, comprised of the most experienced clones in his corps, who would become known creatively as Green Company. Green Company was tasked with ensuring the secure transfer of Nute Gunray from the planet's surface to the Venator Tranquility, where Gree's Jedi General Luminara Unduli and many more 41st soldiers were waiting to assist in the transfer of the Viceroy to Coruscant for further questioning. Gree then oversaw the interrogation of Nute Gunray, and when the Separatists attacked, hoping to free Gunray, Gree and his clones managed to repel the invaders. It turned out that one of the Senate commandos was a traitor and was helping Gunray escape. When Gree heard of this, he knocked out the commando, but Gunray snuck up behind Gree and knocked him out. Later on in the war, Gree and the 41st fought in the second battle of Geonosis alongside Captain Rex and the 501st Legion, helping to destroy a droid foundry. Gree was commanding the 41st on Kashyyyk, helping Yoda to coordinate the battle from the command post, which allowed for great visibility over the entire battlefield. But during this time, Order 66 came down. Gree attempted to kill Yoda, but the Jedi Master sensed the clone's actions and beheaded him. Over 2 decades after Gree's death, his helmet can be seen on Grand Admiral Thrawn's flagship Chimera. Commander Gree is one of the most recognizable commanders of the GAR, an extremely capable commander, often more interested in learning about the obscure alien species than combat. But nonetheless, he was a greatly valued asset to the clone army and helped secure some of its most crucial victories in the most challenging of environments. CC-10994 Gray. Gray was originally born as a captain in the GAR, but because of his exceptional leadership and the fact that he was one of only a few officers to survive the battle, where almost the entire battalion was wiped out, he was promoted to commander of a battalion under the Jedi General Depa Bellabia during their first mission to the planet of Cardoa. As the long clone column made their way through the canyons, an explosion went off top, killing many clone troopers. The battalion fought back and managed to defeat the small separatist force. Following the success of their mission on Cardoa, they were sent to assist the long and grueling Third Battle of Megiddo, during which time they had to fight off General Grievous, who had infiltrated their headquarters. They would soon be rotated out of Megiddo to the distant world of Kola. With the help of Clone Squad 99, they managed to defeat an advancing separatist column, but soon after, Order 66 came down, and Grey would kill his Jedi General. Grey was not a spectacular commander by any stretch of the imagination, nor a charismatic one, but his competent leadership of his men and respect for his Jedi General made him an all-round reliable battalion commander. Hammer was another one of the ARC commanders of the Rancor Battalion under the command of Commander Colt, helping to train new clone cadets and overseeing the Citadel Challenge training course. In 21 BBY, when the CIS attacked the cloning facilities on Kamino, Hammer was present leading clones in combat against the invading droid forces and directing the battle in the hangar bay, commanding the troops that managed to destroy multiple Trident droids. After defeating the separatist forces, Hammer oversaw repairs to Tapoka City and was nearby when the 501st Clones 5 and Echo were made ARC troopers. Havoc is the final member of the Rancor Battalion on this list. As an ARC commander, he would also help train his new cadets and kept an eye out for potential ARC troopers. During the Battle of Kamino in 21 BBY, Havoc assigned 5s and Echo to their stations and was present during the defense of the hangar bay, but while instructing the Clone 99 to get out of the area, he was shot twice, once near the shoulder, which he survived, then once in the chest, which killed him. Husk. A clone commando at birth, Husk would be promoted to commander and the leader of Oryx Squad. He and his squad would deploy to the planet of Tirhan to prepare the landing zones for a Republic invasion. After a rough crash landing, they were attacked by a native species, which they managed to eliminate. During their mission, they sabotaged a CIS vehicle depot. This would make sure the main Republic assault would meet little resistance to its initial landings. And once the invasion begun, they blocked a main route that would have been used by separatist forces, greatly helping the eventual Republic victory. So far, we've met commanders CC 1226, 4816, CR57, 71, Aiden, Appo, Bacara, Blackout, Blitz, Bly, Bo, Broils, Clutch, Cody, Colt, Crane, Crosshair, Deviss, Doom, Dox, Faie, Phil, Flybane, Fox, GammaOne, Ganch, Gett, Gree, Grey, Hammer, Havoc, and Husk. 31 down, 32 to go. And since you've got this far, if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot.